Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. We have a great show for you. First, Luigi Mangione says thanks for the money. Second, why would this brother of a notorious shooter be hanging around schools? A police officer doing some extra checking on his ex-girlfriend gets him in trouble. A pastor has been arrested for some alleged heinous crimes. The Pianist Kill3r, his trial begins. We have this day in legal history and our dumb criminal of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, everyone. My name is Scott Reich, and this is Crime Talk. Thanks for joining us. You know the drill. Subscribe if you haven't, like if you do, leave me a comment below, hit that little bell for notifications so you know when we go live or put up new content. And yes, you can check us out on any of your favorite podcasting apps. All right, before we get to the docket, we got to conduct some business. Go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for that background subscription service today. When you do, you can do a background search on anyone here in the United States. And the beautiful thing is, whether you want to do one search or 1,000 searches, it's all the same price. And here's the other beautiful thing. Once you've done that search and you don't want to do it anymore, you can cancel at any time. But when you do a search, you're literally going to get a background search emailed to you with all the relevant information that you are looking for. Their financial information. Do they own property? Are they divorced? Are they married? Do they have a criminal history? What are their social media sites that associate with them? Are they telling you the truth about all that? Do they have all those 20 different dating sites? Go to Crime Talk Search, check it out. You're going to be happy you did. Information is power, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so let's go ahead and open the record for February 10th of 2025. And first on the docket, Luigi Mangione. That's right. The young 26-year-old charged with the murder of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Guess what? He has accepted $292,000 that have been raised towards his legal defense fund, and he says thank you. Now, Mangione is accused of killing Thompson outside of a Manhattan hotel on December 4th of 2024, and he faces obviously criminal charges, both in New York, Pennsylvania, as well in federal court in New York. Now, this guy who went to Ivy League schools, has graduated from Ivy League schools, smart guy, has pled not guilty to the New York state charges and has not yet made pleas in the federal venue, and he hasn't even been back to Pennsylvania since he was extradited to New York. So the December 4 legal committee, which was created, a Give, Send, Go legal fund, announced today that Mangione would be accepting the more than $292,000 in funds that the group has raised on his behalf for his legal defense fund. And the group says, quote, "We're thrilled that Luigi is accepting these funds so that he can mount the strongest defense possible," said D4 Legal Committee spokesperson Sam Beard in a statement. "The American private health insurance industry has ruined countless lives by denying people access to basic care and burying families in medical debt." Anyway, this announcement comes a week after Mangione's lawyers told the press that her clients planned on using the donations, because nothing better for a good defense than a good pot of money where you can leave no stone unturned, hire as many experts as you need. It's the best thing. I'm just telling you as a lawyer, when somebody says, I don't care what it costs, and they actually mean it, and they prove it, and they back it up, usually you get good results. So who knows what's going to happen to Luigi? We make no promises, but money does matter in the legal system, ladies and gentlemen. Depends on the type of lawyer that you can afford to get. Obviously, their skill, their experience, and the resources that come with it. Experts, investigators, psychologists, psychiatrists, any kind of expert you can possibly imagine. It is all funded by money. So apparently, the attorneys for Luigi have said that he is aware of the fund and very much appreciates the outpouring of support. The attorneys say that Luigi plans on utilizing it to fight all three of the unprecedented cases against him. And at the time, like I said, the December 4 legal committee had $240,000 in contributions. Like I said, it's closer to $292 now. Anyway, the group says that it will continue to raise money for Mangione for the duration of the trial, and we encourage, the group does, not we, CrimeTalk, the group does, encourages millions of supporters to find creative and public ways to advocate for Mr. Mangione during his time behind bars, including donating and sending him mail. He loves to receive letters, memes, and books. The December 4th legal committee also put out in a statement. Now, for those, like I said, need a little more background, Mangione was arrested on December 10th at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, following a dramatic 6-day manhunt that drew nationwide attention. And in Pennsylvania, he faces the least severe charges of carrying a gun without a license, forgery, and a sundry of a few other miscellaneous counts. He was then extradited to New York on December 19th after waiving his rights to an extradition hearing, which is not a big deal, not surprising. And he is next scheduled to appear in New York State Court on February 21st. There he faces 11 charges, including murder in the first degree, murder in furtherance of terrorism, second-degree murder in furtherance of terrorism, and multiple weapons offenses. At the federal level, he's charged with murder through the use of a firearm, 2 counts of stalking, 1 firearm offense. And if he's convicted, the count of murder through the use of a firearm carries the possibility of a death penalty. Now, it's not immediately clear if the prosecutor intends to seek the death penalty. However, in light of the new Justice Department head and a memo that went out basically saying that, particularly if it relates to the death of a police officer, the Department of Justice expects all of the attorneys, the U.S. attorneys, to go after the death penalty. All right, good luck, Luigi. You got money. I'm sure there's more where that came from. Keep sending it, ladies and gentlemen. We want a great trial. Hopefully they'll televise it, but I don't think New York does that, and I know the feds don't do it. Next, why is the brother of the Parkland school shooter hanging out at schools? That's right. The brother of the Parkland school shooter, Nicholas Cruz, has been arrested for allegedly trying to break into 3 schools in Virginia. Please meet Zachary Cruz. He was caught on surveillance video attempting to access several buildings in Augusta County, according to the police. Now, the incidents took place starting at about 11:30 p.m. on January 25th, and Cruz tried to allegedly open the doors at the Wilson Middle School, Wilson High School, and the Valley Career and Technical Center, among others. The footage also shows Mr. Cruz approaching exterior doors, attempting to open them and peering inside, indicating efforts to gain access to the buildings, according to the police. Now, he was charged with these 3 events. Guess what? All misdemeanor counts of trespassing, and was released the following day after a short stay in jail. Now, his arrest comes 6 years after Cruz's brother murdered 17 people and injured 17 more during his 2018 rampage at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Weird. Creepy. Don't go around schools, Mr. Cruz. You freak people out. Next, a bad cop does a little extra research, gets himself in trouble. An Orange County police officer was arrested last week on accusations he illegally used his work computer and law enforcement databases to track the whereabouts of his former girlfriend. And guess what? He'll be fired if he doesn't appeal the termination notice by this Thursday. So what happened, you may ask? Well, Officer Jameis Brown of DeBerry turned himself into the Volusia County Branch Jail Tuesday night, according to police. Brown was charged with stalking and unauthorized access of a computer system network, and he was jailed and then released on a $15,000 bond. Mr. Brown was served a notice several days ago that his employment with the police department will be terminated, and then Brown had 3 days in which to appeal that decision, which would be basically this Thursday. Now, according to the investigative reports from the sheriff's office, a detective was asked back in December to investigate a stalking complaint against this police officer. In the investigation process, the detective obtained reports the victim filed with the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, where she stated that she was Brown's girlfriend for 10 months, but that they had broken up back in October of 2024. The woman then said that she met Brown in December of 2023, and everything was fine at first, but then he began to display extremely controlling behavior. She said that he attempted to control her daily activities, tried to distance her from her family, limited the amount of makeup she could wear, and the length of her fingernails and demanded she share her location with him at all times. Brown also often sat in his patrol vehicle outside of her workplace, according to the arrest affidavit. Now, the woman claimed that Brown put an Apple AirTag GPS in her wallet when he replaced one she lost to track her whereabouts. The woman did not know about the tracking device until she heard it beeping in her bag while on the way to work one day. Now, the woman also became suspicious that he was using some sort of license plate reader to monitor her movements after Brown showed the victim her vehicle going through an intersection during a video chat. The photo of the vehicle was displayed on the screen on his work computer. Now, after breaking up with Brown, the woman started a friendship with another police officer, and that officer told the woman that Brown was spreading rumors about her being suicidal. The report stated that the officer told the woman that Brown had previously used a law enforcement database to track her whereabouts. The woman then called the police and asked if they could do an audit of Brown's police computer, and if that could be done. The woman was then sent to a neighboring police department, and she expressed her concerns that nothing was being done about her case. Well, the audit was done on Brown's computer, and it provided investigators information that Brown had run the license plate of the woman's car and the tag of her mother and brother, a total of 108 times between April and November. The victim, at times, drove her mother's and her brother's car. The officer who alerted the woman also told investigators that Brown said he uses the Flock camera system license plate reader to track the woman, and even asked the officer to go on a stakeout with him to try to see where the vehicle's woman was. The officer declined to go on that stakeout. Anyway, the officer warned Brown to stop using the computer for non-work purposes, and when the sheriff's investigator spoke with Mr. Brown, his attorney was in attendance, and when he asked why he ran the woman's tag numerous times, Brown explained that their relationship started to break apart, and he noticed the victim doing some suspicious things, such as not sharing her location with him, lying about where she was, and about who she was with. Brown claimed that the woman was pregnant and started missing her OBGYN appointment, so he used the license plate reader to track her whereabouts. He said he only ran the woman's tags no more than 10 times. Anyway, Officer Brown stated it was a comfort and safety thing for him to run her tag to confirm that she was where she was supposed to be at. Investigators said Mr. Brown concluded his interview by saying, "Like I told my agency, it was dumb as hell on my end. Emotions flowing, mind going." In concluding the officer's report, the investigator said that Brown admittedly knew he exceeded his authorization when using his work computer for no legitimate reason but to harass and cause the victim emotional distress. There was no work-related justification that was reasonable to use and track this woman's whereabouts. Yeah, it's a little stalky-ish behavior, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, I think so. And, I get it. We all like police. We like the good police. Police are human. Some are heroes. Well, some are not. That's why you don't have a whole lot of heroes in life, right? Why? Because heroes always disappoint. I know that's sad, but unfortunately, it happens too many times in life. Next, a pastor accused of doing some heinous things to kids. That's right. A Tennessee pastor has been arrested for sexually abusing 5 children over the course of several years. Now, police originally received a complaint against Dwight Daniel Suttles. And guess what? This guy's almost 70 years old. This complaint came in September, at which point an investigation began, and it took several months. Now, the pastor of the Liberty Baptist Church in Pigeon Forge was arrested on Tuesday night and will remain in custody because he hasn't posted his $500,000 bond. Now, the 6-count indictment charges him with of a child and 5 counts of aggravated sexual battery. The charging documents refer to 5 victims, each identified by initials. All of them were under the age of 13 at the time of the crimes, and the charging document alleges how Suttles battered 2 of the children over a 2-year period from 2017 through 2019. He is alleged to have had sexual contact with another between November 2018 and November 2021, and another between June 2018 and 2021. A 5th victim was allegedly abused between August of 2018 and September of 2023, according to the charging documents. Now, Suttles has been attending the church since his early 20s and became the pastor in 2009. The court records state how the alleged crimes happened between January 1 of 2017 and September of 2023. Suttles was indicted by the Sevier County Grand Jury on February 3rd, and he was booked into the Sevier County Jail on February 4th. Now, the Sevier County Police have said they could not be releasing any more information about the investigation at this particular time. Heroes, ladies and gentlemen, they always disappoint, right? You got to be careful who you're sending your kids to. How many times have I said that? I'm a criminal defense lawyer, ladies and gentlemen, right? I wouldn't give you bad advice. I would give you advice like I was giving it to my own children. Be careful who you send your kids to be with. I don't care what status they have, where they come from, how much you think you can trust them. I often say, as you walk down the street and you say, oh, that person does terrible things to children, how do you know what they look like? You can't. You don't. Be careful. Next, the Pianist Kill3r trial begins. That's right. A concert pianist known for his ability to memorize Beethoven sonatas is standing trial on charges he brutally murdered a woman whose body was found surrounded by rose petals. Zachary Hughes is charged with the murder and possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime in the deaths of Christina Parcell. Now, Parcell was stabbed approximately 31 times in her home back in October of 2021. Now, police say Hughes, a Juilliard-trained pianist, has no criminal history, and investigators linked Hughes to Parcell through Hughes' friend, a guy by the name of John Mello. At the time of Parcell's death, she was in a custody battle with Mello over their shared daughter, and Mello was facing charges of custodial interference for taking the child out of the country. Prosecutors say they found approximately 1,769 WhatsApp messages between Hughes and Mello, including one where Mello asked the defendant to harass Parcell. Additional evidence against Hughes includes a Ring video showing a person leaving Parcell's home and riding a bicycle out of the neighborhood. Now, a search warrant revealed a bike matching that in the video at Hughes' home. Hughes' defense has maintained his innocence and has instead pointed to Parcell's fiancé, Bradley Post, as a potential alternate suspect. Post, who called 911 after finding Parcell's body, is not charged in her death, but is facing charges of sexual exploitation of a minor and buggery. You just don't hear that word very often, ladies and gentlemen, but buggery. Anyway, jury selection starts today. Next, ladies and gentlemen, this day in legal history on February 10th, 1967, the 25th Amendment to the United States Constitution pertaining to presidential disability and succession took effect. The 25th Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about it. We've heard about it a lot over the last several years, but it was never used. But let's take a look. In the case of the removal of the president from office or of his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Seems simple enough, but remember, this is right after the assassination of Kennedy, and so they wanted to make it very clear. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by majority vote of both houses of Congress. Whenever the president transmits to the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president as acting president. Section 4. Whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal of the officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the president as acting president. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro tem of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inabilities exist, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office unless the vice president and the majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or such other body as Congress may provide by law transmits within 4 days to the president pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Thereupon, Congress shall decide the issue, assembling within 48 hours for that purpose, if not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after receipt of the latter written declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after the Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 vote of both houses that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall continue to discharge the same as acting president. Otherwise, the president shall resume the powers and duties of this office. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the 25th Amendment. How many people can say they've never read the 25th Amendment? My guess is it's going to be, well, most of the people in our audience. But who would have a reason to go do that, right? Next on this day in legal history, on February 10th, 1962, exchange of spies on the Glein-Icke Bridge. That's right, on February 10th, the United States and the Soviet Union conducted a notable prisoner exchange on the Glein-Icke Bridge, connecting West Berlin and East Germany. American U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers, who had been captured by the Soviet Union after his plane was shot down in 1960, was exchanged for Rudolf Abel, a Soviet spy convicted in the United States. Obviously, complex legal and diplomatic negotiations in the Cold War era, and it underscored the use of espionage and the legal process involved in handling a captured spy, as well as the practice of prisoner exchanges between superpowers. Then on this day in 1977, the murder Frank the Bomb Pensiero, a notorious mobster and FBI informant, was shot dead in San Diego. His murder was believed to have been ordered by the mob associates who discovered his cooperation with law enforcement. Hence the term, snitches end up in ditches. Anyway, the Bomp's death underscored the inherent dangers faced by informants within organized crime. It also highlighted the complexities and risks involved in law enforcement to use insider information to combat criminal drug organizations. And on this day in 1980, the discovery of D.B. Cooper's ransom money. That's right. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram discovered approximately $3,000 in decaying $20 bills along the Columbia River in Washington state. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to the infamous hijacker known as D.B. Cooper back in 1971. Obviously, that discovery reignited the investigation and led to numerous legal and investigative efforts to uncover the identity of the fate of D.B. Cooper. And then in 1998, Roger Nichols Angleton committed suicide in a prison cell in Houston, Texas. And in his suicide note, he admitted to the murder of his sister-in-law, Doris Angleton. Now, Roger's confession exonerated his brother and Robert Angleton, who had been accused of orchestrating the murder. The case highlighted issues related to familial crime, the reliability of confessions, and the complexities of the legal process in homicide investigations. Yeah, jailhouse confessions usually are not admissible in court, but I guess if you have enough information where you can say only this is what the information that the murderer would know, maybe it was enough to make it all go away, like in this case. As you remember, that doesn't always work. Photos Doulos thought that was going to work to exonerate his girlfriend and friend in relation to the death of his wife. Girlfriend was recently convicted of that. I'd say last fall, I do believe. So jailhouse confession letters don't really work that well. And finally, our dumb criminal of the day. You know, this guy's just trying to bring a happy ending to everybody. All right. So a licensed massage therapist is in custody on a $100,000 bond for forcefully performing a sex act on one of his male clients, according to police investigators. Now, obviously, we'll give him the presumption of innocence, but court records indicate that on December 29th at the Botanica Day Spa in Clearwater, Florida, Hector Posadas performed massages and skincare treatments. Well, the victim in this particular case told the police Towards the end of his massage, the end of the session, while lying on his back, Posadas touched his stuff. And we're not talking about his clothing, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking. Reached under the towel and touched his stuff. The client originally thought, well, this is just a big mistake. However, Posadas then allegedly reached under the victim's underwear, grabbed the man's penis, and placed it in his mouth. Now, according to the police report, the victim then jumped up off the table, ended the massage, and left the business to alert the police. Now, a sexual assault forensic examination later revealed that the victim had foreign DNA on his penis, scrotum, and genital areas, as well as inside his underwear. The arrest affidavit does not identify the contributor of those DNA samples. Now, during initial police questioning, Posadas denied the incident took place at all. He subsequently retained legal counsel and declined to speak further with the detectives. Good advice, Mr. Posadas. Anyway, Mr. Posadas, he resides in Largo, Florida. He is married to a man 18 years his senior, but that union ended in divorce in 2021. According to Mr. Posadas' LinkedIn page, he is listed as an esthetician. Posada has successfully balanced clients' needs while delivering exceptional services. His dedication to quality has increased client retention, showcasing his commitment to client satisfaction. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. He's all about client satisfaction. He is all about making sure that after every treatment, everybody's happy. Of course, it didn't quite work out that way. It also turns out that Mr. Posada has apparently voluntarily relinquished his massage therapy license, which he's had since 2016. Mr. Posada, you are a dumb criminal of the day. Kind of reminds me, that's why I got a chuckle out of it, reminds me of a case once where we represented some people that worked at a massage parlor. Okay. And as it turned out, our lady was innocent, just worked the front desk, but the guy goes into the Chinese massage parlor and gets a massage. Now, I've gotten lots of massages, and I have never, when I walked in, been handed like a hand towel and say, here's your towel, go ahead and get as comfortable as you like, right? No, they always put you under the sheets, they tuck you under, nothing inappropriate whatsoever. I love a good massage, right? Anyway, the guy goes into the massage parlor, same type of thing here, where he rolls over, the woman starts pleasuring him. He's shocked, he leaves. Of course, the guy's married, he goes home. He's apparently freaked out because he's been sexually assaulted. Goes to the police department, makes a mistake. They come and raid the massage parlor, where fortunately we had the innocent client who is just the person outside, have no idea what's taking place on the inside. Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to a massage parlor and they don't tell you to get underneath the sheets, they just hand you a washcloth about the size of this paper and say, make yourself comfortable. Don't get a massage there. Don't get a massage there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's all we have for today. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for their big Super Bowl win. And, since we're a Bronco, grew up in Denver, gotta love the Broncos, and we almost beat, the Chiefs twice this year, but only, it didn't break my heart to see them lose by such a blowout. But that's all we have for you. All right, have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, the Constitution matters.